Hey there, this is Niels Beardfoot, and today I want to show you how to build a bird skull from leather. We start by printing out the pattern, taping it together and start cutting it out. Here in this case I printed out the pattern at 55% scale. Tape the pattern on your leather and cut it out roughly. Then trace all the outer lines on the leather. After this, the pattern itself is not needed for the moment, so I removed it and used my cutting knife to cut out the leather along these marked lines. With a hole punch you can get easier into these tight inner corners. After you're done, moisten the top side leather under a tap or with a sponge. Now you can trace all the lines for decoration. And using your swivel knife to cut along these lines. With your stamping tools you get an even deeper impression into the leather. The most important thing here, when you use your stamps and when you cut with your swivel knife, is the leather moisture. The leather should be cool on the touch, but still having its original color. When the areas you stamp darken to a nice brown, the moisture is perfect. Here I'm using a stylist to get more details into the leather, but those will never be as deep as your stamps. Thin out the leather around your eye holes, so later on it will be easier for the edges to be rolled inwards. And also with the jawbone, I groove a line on the flesh side to make folding easier. Along all edges that will be sewn, I mark the distance from the edge to the holes. Now I can use these lines as guiding to punch my holes. Bevel all the remaining edges. Now it's about dyeing the leather. Here I use a water-based dye in Java Brown. It does not dry as fast as oil or alcoholic-based dyes, but it's lighter and you can add more coats to get exactly the brown you want. I put on 2 coats of resist to protect the leather and prepare it for antique gel. While drying, I use the moisture from the resist to burnish the beveled edges. While the resist is still drying, I use my swivel knife to make some cuts to give it a used look. This way the antique gel will easier stay in there. Shape the skull with the remaining moisture into its rough form so sewing becomes easier. After the resist dried completely, I add water-based antique gel that is not able to penetrate into the leather and will only stay in the deep areas and the cuts. So basically in all your tooling areas, and the rest will simply be wiped away by a paper towel. With another coat of resist, I make sure that the antique gel will not be that easily washed away. But you have to make sure that the antique gel with the resist does not pool. That is why I tap away all the remaining resist very gently. This is about sewing. I use a thread that is already pre-waxed. Now I re-moisten the leather from the inside completely so it's completely wet and let it set for half an hour. Now we can start to shape the skull into its final form. This is a process that will take some time. With the bone folder I can stretch out the leather from the inside and give it a more round shape. For the rest, I mostly use my fingers to press it into the form I want. As the last step, put together the jawbone and the skull. Do so simply by marking the correct position of the jawbone on the skull. Punch the hole and use a regular rivet to put it together loose. And there you have it. The skull is finished. This obviously works also for bigger versions of the skull, but in this video I just make the small one, and here you can see the bigger one that even fits on your head. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Leave a comment and a like, and see you next time. Ciao!